What is up, guys? I am the one and only Eagle Double T, and in this video, I'm going to be comparing the Xbox One S controller to the PlayStation DualShock 4. So without further ado, let's begin. Now, both these controllers are big improvements compared to the DualShock 3 and the Xbox 360. Now, the DualShock 4, it feels a lot more evolved, and there's a lot of new features in this controller compared to the PS3 controller, and it just feels a lot nicer. Now, the Xbox One controller has a lot more new features, and it's just pretty much a big step forward and feels a lot more evolved. Now, on the DualShock 4, you'll find a touchpad that hasn't really been taken advantage of, but it's still there, and it's still a nice feature. It has a 3.5mm headphone jack, and this controller is rechargeable. Now, this is probably the DualShock 4's biggest advantage over the Xbox One controller, because the Xbox One controller, while it does have a better battery life by far compared to the DualShock 4, isn't rechargeable, which really sucks. Now, the Xbox One controller, compared to the Xbox 360 controller, has a much nicer D-pad. It's not mushy anymore, and it's clicky and responsive. The buttons are iffy. I can really go either way between this and the 360 controller buttons. The joysticks are a lot nicer. They have this nice texturing. The radius is just right, and my fingers have no problem staying on the joysticks. Now, the Xbox One S controller's main advantage over the DualShock 4 is the impulse triggers, which have rumble inside of them. So it's very precise and great for games like Call of Duty, first-person shooters, and racers, and games like Grand Theft Auto. It just really helps add to the experience. Now, when it comes to the comfort of these controllers, people have different hands, and everyone's going to have their own opinions, but I would give it to the Xbox One S controller, because the PS4 controller, it is nice, and it's pretty decently comfortable, but after a long time, my hands do cramp. Now, with the Xbox One S controller, it just fits my hand a little bit better. I like the shape of it better, and I love the texturing. Now, the texturing on the PS4 controller is nice, but on the Xbox One S controller, I'd say it's just a bit nicer to hold. So overall, I do like holding the Xbox One S controller more, and I think it is more comfortable. Now, the PS4 has a share button, and the Xbox One S controller does not. The DualShock 4 also has speakers in the controller, which is a nice little touch. The Xbox One S controller doesn't. The home button, I like the Xbox One S home button better than the PS4 button right there. The D-pads on these controllers, both are really nice, but I'm going to give it to the Xbox One S controller because it feels more like a traditional D-pad. And even though this is a big improvement compared to the DualShock 3 and does feel nice, I am going to give the edge to the Xbox One S controller. So, the triggers on the Xbox One S controller are much nicer. However, the bumpers, I can really go either way with. They're a bit too clicky on the Xbox One S controller, however, they do work nice. While on the DualShock 4, they are a little bit nicer feeling, however, they aren't as nicely shaped. Now, also, the DualShock 4 has a light bar to indicate your in-game health, so it'll go red if you're critically injured, stuff like that. So when it comes to features, I definitely think the DualShock 4 has nicer features with its touchpad, the speaker, the light bar, and it's rechargeable. However, the Xbox One S controller, I like the texturing better, I think it's more comfortable, and the buttons and joysticks and triggers overall are a little bit better. In the end, I'm going to give the victory to the Xbox One S controller, because the DualShock 4 does have nicer features such as a touchpad, a speaker, and a rechargeable battery. However, the Xbox One S controller, it has a better D-pad in my opinion, far better joysticks, and much nicer triggers, and also it just feels a bit more high quality without any exposed screws, unlike on the DualShock 4. So, I am going to give the victory to the Xbox One S controller. Comment which controller you like better, like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more video game related content. I am the one and only Eagle Double T, signing off. Goodbye.